When I was a child, my grandfather told me a creepy story that took place in the Middle Ages. This story had been passed down through generations, each time growing more terrifying and detailed. In a small village hidden among dense forests and high mountains, there lived a young girl named Elsa. She was extraordinarily beautiful and intelligent, but this became her curse. The local villagers, known for their superstition and fear of the unknown, began to suspect that her beauty and wisdom couldn't be natural. They whispered that Elsa had made a pact with dark forces. Elsa lived on the outskirts of the village in a small but cozy house surrounded by a garden. She often ventured into the edge of the forest, gathering herbs and flowers, which she used to make various potions and remedies. People said her brews had miraculous properties, further fueling suspicion and fear. One cold winter evening, tragedy struck the village. A young girl named Anna, the daughter of a wealthy farmer, suddenly fell ill. No one could understand what had happened to her. She grew paler with each passing day, and no medicine seemed to help. Desperate, Anna's parents turned to Elsa for help. Elsa agreed to help and came to Anna's home. She prepared a decoction of rare herbs and gave it to Anna for several days. To everyone's surprise, the girl began to recover, her strength returning. But soon after Anna's recovery, strange and terrifying events started occurring in the village. Animals in the farms died mysteriously, livestock disappeared, and eerie screams echoed through the forest at night. People began to say that it was all Elsa's doing, that she was a witch bringing misfortune to their land. Fear and anger grew daily, and soon a mob of enraged villagers headed to her home. They burst into Elsa's house, accusing her of witchcraft and of selling her soul to the devil. Without trial or investigation, they seized her and dragged her to an old oak tree on the edge of the village. They tied her to the tree and lit a fire. Elsa didn't scream or beg for mercy. She merely looked at her tormentors with such cold, piercing hatred that many of them hesitated in their actions. But it was too late. The fire consumed her body, and soon nothing was left of Elsa but ashes. But the story doesn't end there. A few days after Elsa's execution, the village was plagued by a series of strange and unexplainable events. The water in the wells turned black and bitter, crops withered, and people fell ill and died. The villagers began to believe that this was Elsa's revenge for her unjust death. One night, the old watchman, who was on duty in the village square, saw a shadow near the very oak tree where Elsa was burned. The shadow resembled a female figure, and a cold, penetrating fear emanated from it. The watchman tried to approach, but the shadow suddenly disappeared, leaving only the smell of burning and smoldering embers. Since then, every night at the old oak, this shadow was seen. People said it was Elsa's spirit, unable to find peace and seeking justice. The village gradually emptied, the residents leaving, unable to endure the constant fear and the curse they believed hung over them. Years passed, the village was abandoned, and only a few knew that people once lived there. But the legend of Elsa the witch lived on, passed from mouth to mouth, reminding everyone that sometimes fear and prejudice can lead to horrific consequences. Travelers passing by this place often noticed a strange silence and cold that seemed to emanate from the ground itself. Locals from neighboring villages always avoided this place, knowing that something sinister and restless dwelled there.